Hi guys, my name is Evan. I am your mod from Little Root Lessons, and I'm also the lead coordinator for our inaugural LML, the Little Root Lessons Multi-Battle Draft League. So it's LML. Then I'm very happy to like announce that we have completed our week 1 matches. So this is our week 1 recap for all the multi-battles that happened. Notably, we had an exhibition week, but I didn't do a recap for the exhibition week because that's just a week for everyone to prepare their mons and also to test out how multi-battles work, and also find out things that might go wrong or things that you need to remember. For example, getting your mons to level 50. Yeah. Then I don't really want to do this alone, so here with me I have Kaizen again. You remember Kaizen from our what's that team tier list video?
Yeah, tier list.
Okay.
Hi everyone.
Nice. I think Kaizen, you might have to speak a tiny bit louder.
Okay, I'll speak a little bit louder, like this. Is this better?
Yeah, I think it sounds okay. So all we are gonna do is go through 9 games. Because one of our teams dropped from our tournament or from our league due to commitments. So 9 games is not a lot, so I think let's jump straight into it. So let me introduce what you are seeing on the screen. So first of all, you see game 1, and then you see Las Vegas Primarinas versus the Pokepals. So these are the 2 teams, and then these are the teams in the Rose group. Then you can access this in our official spreadsheet. So what you see is the player 1 mons, which are blue, and the player 2 mons, which are red. And then the one that's highlighted would be the mons that they led. So in this game, for example, we can see a Zeraora and Swampert lead against a Jellicent and a Nuzleaf. Then I'm also revealing the nicknames here, the kills, and the kill details. So for example, who exactly did the Swampert kill. So these are stats that you can actually find in a tab called form data. It's at the extreme right in your spreadsheet. So you guys can use this as a source of open information in case you want to see maybe what your opponents brought in the previous week. Then you can click on their Pokepaste. So finally, at the extreme right here, you can see this blue zone. So that just shows you during the match who Dynamaxed. Yeah, so this gives us information on how the match played out. Then my laptop is kind of lousy, so I don't want to flash the VODs. So you guys can click the VODs. There will be a link in the blue zone as well. So if you want to watch the match over. For the people who uploaded your VODs, there's one way to keep the VOD forever on Twitch, which is to click the highlight button. So because if not, then this VOD, the VOD link expires in 14 days. So I think I'll make a formal announcement to remind you guys. So without further ado, let's jump into the first game. So Andrew, do you have anything else to say like before everything? Before we jump into each game?
I think let's just go and start. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let me turn your volume to the max. Okay, so this is week 1. This is game 1. The Las Vegas Primarinas, our Swampert and like hyper offensive team, versus the Pokepals, who has the Sun team, Sun with Toko. Yeah. Okay. I realized that one thing we don't see here is the mons that they didn't bring. Yeah.
I can take charge of that. I'll have the team sheet open here. Then every time we start, I'll just note who they did.
Okay, that makes sense. So I watched the game. I think the captain of the Las Vegas Primarinas will upload a video, but what happened was the Pokepals went straight for Trick Room with the Jellicent, and then they tried to use Torko to Dynamax and do as much damage as possible. Then Torko also prepped the Solar Beam so it could have a chance to one-hit KO the Swampert. However, the Las Vegas Primarinas are able to position Swampert together with Togetic. They were willing to let their Zeraora go down. So when Trick Room was set up, they got the Zeraora to Volt Switch into Jellicent. But they were okay with it going down. Then just so happens the Zeraora survived at 1 HP. And then it KO'd the Jellicent and they got the switch into Togetic. So you had a Swampert Togetic in front of a Torko and Golurk. Yeah, I think the Golurk was quite cool. The Golurk had no guard with Dynamic Punch, and he managed to confuse the Swampert, but the Swampert didn't get confused at all. So quite lucky on the Primarina's end. Then they also timed the Follow Me and the Protect turns well on their Togetic, and they were able to keep the Togetic alive to always redirect the max overgrowth from Swampert, from Torko into Swampert. So generally, they were able to stall out Trick Room, and then Swampert with the +1 special defense survived the third max move, which was Overgrowth, because Torko used 2 max moves to kill Togetic, and then Swampert actually survived. So in the end, he was still able to stay out of Trick Room. But then the Pokepels didn't have enough tools. So Latios could only kill Swampert, but he couldn't kill, Dragapult. So Dragapult was able to revenge kill the Jellicent, and then the Primarinas just had the speed control in the end game. Yeah, the Nuzleaf was quite cool. I think it was Eviolite and it survived quite a few moves. Yeah, then Nuzleaf actually had that fake out pressure, but they didn't go for. I'm not sure if they went for the fake out on turn 1. Yeah, I think they did. I think they faked out and Trick Room. But this is interesting because I don't really see multi-battle leagues going for Trick Room first. Yeah, unless you are a Mergiana team. So it kind of worked out. The Torko was able to do good damage into Togetic, but then it still wasn't enough. Yeah, that's basically the match. Andrew, do you have any thoughts? What didn't they bring?
So yeah, I didn't see the match, so I'll focus on what they didn't bring. The Primarinas, they didn't bring Registeel, Decidueye, Terrakion, and Otami. I'm not sure which ones were actually brought in Team Preview, but just not brought into the game.
True.
I think it makes a lot of sense. Like Registeel, you don't bring that into the Sun matchup. And I think Terrakion, maybe they probably had it. I'm guessing they had it in Team Preview.
True.
But they ended up not bringing it as part of the actual 6. Yeah.
What about the Pokepels? Yeah, I think it makes sense, right? In hindsight, they
For
they didn't
Pokepels. Oh yeah, sorry. There's a bit of overlap. You're saying?
I said like it's correct to not bring like the mons weak to Sun. Yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah. And for the Pokepass, they didn't bring Cobalion, Heliolisk, Darmanitan, and Centiskorch.
Ah, interesting. Yeah, maybe they respected the Togetic's Follow Me. So, and then even Zeraora had Fake Out, so it's quite difficult to set up Cobalion. So choosing to go the Trick Room mode, yeah, but then in the end it didn't pay off because the Togetic was just too bulky and too useful as a support mon. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next match then. So next match is Martin's Solrock versus Texas Tyrunts. The latest match that happened, fresh off the press, and it was so close. It was a nail biter. It went all the way to the end. Yeah. Oh right. There weren't any nicknames, huh? Oh yeah. Okay. Shoutouts to the Primarinas nicknames. I don't really get it, but yeah, I think it's KS's idea. And then to the Pokepels with a theme of food. Yeah, and you'll see a lot of food later as well. Okay.
I was thinking the Pokepal's nicknames are something that I would have expect in the last buffet.
True. Alright. Okay, so Martin Solrock versus Texas Tyrants. Like the Solrock's team, it's like just good stuff Smons and very bulky. And then my reflection upon seeing the match is that they just prepped very well. So they were prepared for quite a lot of things that could happen, and then they kept using moves that can lower special attack. I think that's a very good way to control the Magearna. Then Krebs from the Texas Tyrant who streamed, he kept saying that it feels like a hyper defensive team, which kind of makes sense because all they do is try to do damage control or boost their own defenses. Yeah. Then do you have the TLDR of the match?
Yeah, I have a couple of notes here. So I think for me the key turning point in favor of the Solrocks was when they took down the Como very early. So the Tyrants, as you can see, they led Togepi and Como, and they were trying to set up for something like Follow Me plus Clangorous Soul. They actually got a Clangorous Soul off, but then Spectrier used Haze to get rid of the boost. So that was really key, and that forced them to either they tried to get another Clangorous Soul off, but then it would take damage again, and Grimmsnarl's Spirit Break actually got the KO on Como. So I think the Solrock team, they just really positioned themselves very well to threaten the Togepi with the Spectrier, but also use Spectrier's Haze to get rid of Como. And once Como was down, if you look at the team that they brought, they really had to rely on Magearna and to an extent Seismitoad to do damage because the rest of the team doesn't do damage. So because of that, the Solrock team was able to they were able to stall it out. They actually won. If you see the score is 2-2, right? So they won on timer and having more HP. They didn't actually reveal the Gastro at the back. So it was really tough for, even if they only had one slot left, it was really tough for the Tyrants to
do enough damage, right?
Do enough damage in the late game. I think, so a couple of things that I noticed. One is they tried to use Magnetic Flux from Clean Clown to get the Toxtricity to have Levitate, but they had to use it, or they used it on a turn where Toxtricity used Max Guard, and it doesn't work. So that was unfortunate. So Toxtricity didn't actually get to do much.
Yeah.
The other thing is that the Tyrants, I think not seeing the timer hurt them quite a bit. So they were in a situation late game where Rillaboom was paralyzed and was threatening the Seismitoad.
Seismitoad, correct.
So they ended up switching quite a lot within the last 5 minutes or so. And I think that was when you probably have to make calculated risks. Do you risk the Rillaboom actually being able to move, or do you just kind of switch around and not do damage? And because of that, they weren't able to do enough to win the tiebreaker. Yeah.
True. Meme review when? No, I don't do memes. I only do recaps. Some things I found interesting. Like, it was a very back and forth game, and both teams were still able to always maintain their offensive pressure. Then Magearna, like, I think it went for Max Starfall into the Grimmsnarl. That was very smart, preempting maybe a Toxtricity Dynamax that could go for Hex, right? Go for status. So I thought that Max Starfall was kind of smart, but then like the Solrocks really controlled the game well with Snarl, and then they even intentionally Spirit Break into the Magearna. So over here we see that like sometimes if you don't get the boost that Magearna really needs, then Magearna doesn't do as much damage, especially when it 2-hit KO into a Grimmsnarl, and the Grimmsnarl was still able to set up screens again. So and another thing to note is the like the end game. Like I think they were surprised when the Kling Klang went for Trick Room. Yeah, because Kling Klang actually wanted to enable maybe like Gastrodon in the back. So then Magearna was kind of fast. so the Tyrunts still had to try and navigate out of Trick Room, especially when they got their Purloin to rain dance for the Seismitoad to be fast. So the Seismitoad was really under a lot of threat, and I felt like they were really very stressed and very pressured at that time. And then I also noted that I think Krebs didn't see the timer, the 3-minute left on the screen, and they couldn't react fast enough because generally 3 minutes means 2 moves because of all the animations and the move selection. So in the end, the Solrocks were able to get the win. Yeah, very impressive. Then one final thing, just shout outs to the nicknames. I like the puns from Tyrunts. Yeah, size matters, managed to get a kill. And then the Como and stuff also quite cute. Okay, so that's game 2. Yeah, this was one of the closest this week. So on to game 3, Xerneas Mamma Mia. And all our members are in chat, Xerneas Mamma Mia versus Malcolm. Very interesting nicknames. Yeah, I don't get a lot of the references, but thanks for the effort. Then Asada streamed the match, and they just brought one special thing that caught the Malcolm players off guard. Cause Entei has a speed stat of 100, and then Genesect has a speed stat of 99. And then Asada told me that a very common Genesect set in doubles OU is the Scarf set, so that they can Scarf U-turn their way out, or maybe try and do damage with download boost. Yeah, as quick as possible. So they prepared Scarf Entei, and it gets access to Eruption, which is something I don't know. So all they did was lead Entei and Ninetales, Eruption and Aurora Veil, and then just keep spamming Eruption until the opponent can't stop it. Yeah, so notably, Malcolm went for a safe lead, but it seems so passive, right? So they went with something like Clefable, Driftblim to try and maybe go for Follow Me to redirect something, and then Driftblim goes for Tailwind. Notably, this Driftblim had Hypnosis, so I was thinking they could have capitalized and went straight for something like Hypnosis Sing, or Hypnosis on turn 1 and then go straight for like Gravity Sing, or go straight for Gravity and Gravity turn 1 and then Hypnosis on turn 2, like not worrying about the Tailwind. Yeah, but really the Entei with the Eruption pressured a lot of damage onto them.
I think I just want to add that it was very difficult for Malcolm to figure out that the Entei was Scarf. So I don't know what the item. I didn't check the item on the Genesect, but it's interesting, right? Because with that lead, the Fable and Driftblim, the Entei would always go first, so you wouldn't know that it's Scarf. And even if the Genesect at the back was Scarf, once you bring it in, then you can get caught by surprise, and then suddenly the Eruption still goes first, and then the Genesect just dies. In this case, I think they noticed the Entei was still faster. They sent out Genesect early and had to switch it out again. So the Vanillux at the back had to take unnecessary damage. So that really just made it so difficult for them to reposition and come back.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very good tech. And one thing to know is also the Eruption just keeps doing so much damage to the opponent, right? Then like they also cannot commit to the max safely because the Dynamax turns keeps alternating. So it was quite difficult from Malcolm's end. Then one more special thing that happened in this match was the Xerneas was willing to let Entei go down, because if Ninetales is still on the field and then Sceptile comes in a free switch, with a free switch then they got Ice Shut onto Unburden Weakness Policy Sceptile, and then just so happens they got Sceptile in the correct position and they were able to Dynamax it at the correct time. So that really caught Malcolm off guard, because Unburden Sceptile can easily outspeed the Octovish with Slush Rush. Yeah. So quite a commanding game from the Xerneas Mamma Mia. Then unfortunately, in the late game, Malcolm's Genesect was still able to Dynamax, so they managed to wait out for some turns, and Genesect was able to take a few KOs, so the differential wasn't that high on Xerneas' side. Yeah, so that's all. You guys are interested, you guys can click on the VOD to watch. Anything else to add, Andrew?
No, that was pretty good. A very commanding win. Yeah.
Yeah, and this to me this is like an example of one special thing in your team that can do very well against the opponent's team, can also catch them off guard at the same time. Yeah, I think that also applied to my match that I will talk about later. So it's quite interesting to think out of the box and then think of that one special thing that could work. Yeah. Oh, they were also very confident because Entei with Scarf outspeeds Arctovish in Slush Rush. So poor Arctovish, it's just too slow. So even the Entei is not afraid of something like a Fisher's Rend or a Hydro Pump. Yeah.
Oh,
So quite
okay.
sad.
Yeah.
So this one special tech really just helped the team very, very well. Okay, let's move on to game 3. Puff Puff Pass versus Omaha Omanytes. So Jiggly is very busy with school, so they didn't hand in their homework for us. So we don't know what exactly did they lead. So I got a bit of information from Lemmy from the Omaha Omanytes. They led with Sableye and Volcarona, and then they told me the Puff Puff Pass led with I think it was Mimikyu and Fungus. So from the kill details we could see that they went for something like Lemmy told me they went for Sunny Day and Heat Wave, so that yeah, nothing gets redirected, right? Like even Sableye's Taunt. Yeah. Maybe, yeah, then they also told me that they didn't really think in advance. Yeah, it was Mimifungus, right? Okay. So Mimikyu was able to set up the trick room. And then Fungus was forced to Rage Powder. I see. They couldn't really just risk it and Spore. Then, so I think from the kill details we could see that the Heat Wave was lucky enough to get the burn on the Fungus. So Volcarona got that kill. So I think the Omanytes... Oh no. Hang on. I didn't know that we are... Oh, that's because the information from the Omanytes span a few cells. Then another thing to note is that Puff Puff Pass came up with a... After Trick Room ended, I think, maybe they came out with a late game Porygon Z Dynamax. Yeah, but not much information from us and there's no VOD. Oh, that's fine, that's fine. The details are good. Because the details kind of gave us a insight on how you guys played the Volcarona. Because having Sableye beside the Volcarona, that's very good support, right? So you don't have to worry about them being in Trick Room or not. And then being very lucky, yeah, Puff Pass was unlucky, right? Yeah. Because being very lucky to take out the Fungus on turn 1 eliminated their source of redirection as well. Oh right, there was a rock slide miss. No wonder Volcarona was able to go unchecked and then take so much KOs. I see. Yeah, and the burn off of Fungus. Okay. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
because of that, Volcarona is our kill leader for this week with
Yes.
4 kills.
Is this the one? Okay, let me quickly do this. Yeah, so you just get to see a little bit more. Then, yeah, so maybe it was a few lucky turns. Yeah, but that's the game. Then, yeah, man, that's quite unfortunate. Oh, I also want to mention that I think Lemmy will be uploading this video, so maybe we can look back at it and see how it could have played out better for Puff Puff Pass. Oh, don't worry about your Kangaskhan and NJ because there are 7 Mons tied in second place for kill leader. Yeah, I'll let you guys know later. So maybe we'll catch the match later, but congratulations to the Omanytes with the win. Yeah, so 4-0 looks very commanding on paper, but yeah, then there was luck involved, so yeah, we can maybe reflect upon it and try and do better.
Sometimes one turn just switches the momentum too much that it makes it pretty much impossible to come back.
Correct, yeah. So I think notably, I think the Porygon maybe took 2 kills, so you can see that the game is still not completely unbalanced, and Puff was still able to try and get some KOs, you know. So yeah, I think that was the game. And let's move on to game 5. Alright, so game 5 we have the Surging Surfers. Hang on. Game 5, this means this is from the Rose group instead. Then we have the Surging Surfers versus the Last Buffet. So this was streamed by Bauerdet, and there were a few mistakes, so I gotta remind everyone, because they tried to connect for 3 times as shown on stream, and the mistake is that the Surging Surfers had maybe some miscommunication, and both members had an Alolan Marowak each. So like, it's not allowed. You have to make sure that all 8 mons are different when you bring into the game. So I think what happened was Bauerdet tried to remind them, and then they said they won't bring one of the Alolan Marowak. So I'm gonna I'll personally DM them and check in with them. Then but otherwise, let's talk about the match. The Surging Surfers tried something spicy. So I felt like it was unnecessary to max on turn 1. So as you can see, the Alolan Raichu Dynamax, but the Alolan Raichu didn't get any kills, unfortunately. That's because they went for a max Mind Storm into the Galvantula that was Focus Sash. So and then at the same time, like, Pincurchin has something like Sucker Punch, right? Then max Mindstorm into the Galvantula with the Sash just stops the Pincurchin from using Sucker Punch to break that Sash. So I don't think it was a very good game plan, but quite creative nonetheless, with Sucker Punch into a weakness policy Alolan Raichu.
The Sucker Punch did like 1/3 of Raichu's health though.
Pincurchin is actually quite strong.
So it did about 1/3, and then Galvantula survived with the Sash. It used Bug Buzz, and then the Rotom Mole used Dark Pulse. So that was it. By Raichu.
Then, although they had the switch into Kyogre, but I feel like the Last Buffet were very prepared for Kyogre because they led 2 electric types. So the Kyogre was very threatened, and then immediately switched out into Marowak. And then somehow the Marowak, maybe they didn't prep correctly, and the Marowak was not Lightning Rod, and it took so much damage from the Galvantula's Volt Switch and the Rotom's move. So notably the Rotom went for Leaf Storm, trying to do damage into the Kyogre, but it Leaf Storm into the Marowak.
Hey Evan, I think there's something with the notes here. So the Surging Surfers, in the player 1 slot, they had the Marowak instead of Indeedee, and Indeedee was actually in the player 2 slot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think they messed up the form.
Yeah.
So I'll get them to. I'll go and edit it.
Yep.
Right. That's why the Indeedee was on the opposite side, and Marowak was able to switch in place of the Kyogre. So, I think this was their game. Maybe this was their different game plan. They didn't prepare to bring both Marowaks.
And I think I guess one thing that we noticed about their team now is there are actually quite a number of dark weaknesses. So props to the last buffet. The Rotom actually didn't have any electric moves. It had Leaf Storm, Dark Pulse, Nasty Plot, and Protect. So with that Dark Pulse, it's able to threaten the Raichu. So it got the KO on the Raichu. It can threaten in DD. And it doesn't have to worry about Marowak either, because even if it's Lightning Rod, you can still hit it for super effective with your Dark Pulse. So very good tech on their part.
That makes
and
sense, right? 'Cause
Good recognition that they don't need the electric coverage. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Then moving on the in the game, the Indeedee male somehow set up Trick Room, but then it was okay because Suicune was kind of slow, and then there was an Incineroar to switch in to intimidate opponent's Marowak, and Solgaleo could also Dynamax after the Marowak went down to Suicune's Skull. So quite a lot of momentum in the buffet side, and then all they did was get Solgaleo to max Quake a few times, and then it took so little damage from Kyogre's Water Spout. Then this Appleton, this week they brought a very defensive, I would say kind of spicy set. I've seen this Appleton before way back in Series 1 and 2 with Iron Defense and Amnesia to make it as bulky as possible. And then it was able to kill the Kyogre with Body Press, so that was interesting. Then after Trick Room ended, the Solgaleo just went wild. Solgaleo took out Armaldo in one shot, and in the late game, the screenshot showed 4-1. However, we are going to give the Solgaleo the kill into the Pinkachine because the Surging Surfers, they just forfeit and ran. So I want to remind everyone not to do that. We want to maintain the differential. So in the future, try not to, please don't run from your games. Yeah, play it out until the timer ends. Yeah, so very commanding game from the last buffet with a very bulky team and good options to just do good damage and use Incineroar for Intimidate.
Oh, just one quick thing. The nicknames of the Incineroar and Solgaleo are mixed up. So, Ric Flair, the Incineroar.
Yeah, I don't get a reference though. I don't know about that.
Ric Flair is a wrestler.
Oh,
Not that spelling. It's Flair.
cool.
Flair for the Incineroar.
Yeah, okay, so that's our game 5. Let's move on to... So that's all the Rose group matches. So congratulations to Primarinas, Solrocks, Xerneas, the Omanytes, and the Buffets for going 1-0. So good luck to the other teams, try and catch up. Let's go on to Game 6, our Peony group. So we are halfway there. And this is my match against Team Pocket Rocket. And we have a team of food. So all this food is an Asian dish called nasi lemak. It's basically coconut rice with fried chicken wing. Yeah, it's very fragrant rice cooked with coconut milk. And these are all the ingredients of that dish. Cucumber, sambal. Ikan bilis is anchovies. And I'm very proud of Peanuts the Sneasel because it survived a lot of moves. So yeah. Then the VOD is there, the link is there, and as I was saying just now, Hakim and I thought of this one thing that is very good against the opponent. So that one thing is actually Dynamax Credility with Surf Sneasel. So I think maybe it caught them off guard because maybe they didn't expect Credility to Dynamax on turn 1. Yeah, we were a bit worried Dynamaxing Credility on turn 1 and then maybe like committing to our Dynamax early, but in the end it still played out well because Credility was able to go for max Quake, do good damage into the Ninetales, and get our special defense up in preparation for the Venusaur. And then notably, the Credility is also AV, so Rotom can't do damage, And Ninetales also cannot do damage into Credily as fast as we can do damage back. Yeah. Yeah, and notably this game also went to time, so maybe Team Pocket Rocket didn't take note of the time, so in the end they Dynamaxed the Venusaur a bit too late, and then the game ended in the middle of Venusaur's Dynamax, so we were able to stall the game out and win with 4-2, so just a +2 differential on our end. Yeah, however, we still managed to take the win. So Andrew, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I think the key there was the Crady's max turns were in a way like worth it. So Team Pocket Rocket tried to stall it out by making interesting switches. So for example, turn 1 was a max overgrowth into a Thievul which protected, so good for them. Like they blocked that. And then they switched out the Thievul for Ninetales in turn 2. But then Cradily, instead of going for another overgrowth, went for the Quake into the Ninetales. And then turn 3, instead of quaking again to the Ninetales, the Cradily used Rockfall, and then they switched the Ninetales into Rotom to take the Rockfall. So, good effort from Team Pocket Rocket to switch things around, but I think, Evan and Hakim, they played the max turns really well so that you don't get trapped into wasting a move, like one extra move. You already wasted the overgrowth, but then
True.
wasting another move would have been really difficult.
Yeah, I felt like we made quite okay calls, and then we traded a lot of damage on the opponent's mons for our Dynamax turns, so I thought we were okay with that. Then at the same time, our Sneasel was Eviolite, so Tweki kept attacking the Sneasel, and then we had a surprise that the Sneasel has Protect, so the Sneasel stayed on the field for very long. And notably, the player 1 slot on Team Pocket Rocket side are all weak to ice. So I felt like they didn't switch out the Tweki fast enough to maybe position Venusaur together with Ninetales. I think the reason is because they were scared of Sneasel's ice attacks onto that slot. So that's why they stayed in with Tweki. And then I feel like we just did well in targeting the player 2 slot to force a 2v1 endgame. So in the end, it worked out in our favor.
And do you remember if they brought Steelix in Team Preview?
No. So they didn't bring
No.
Hitmonchan and Steelix, the two
Right.
mons that can do extremely good damage into Credily. Stab super effective moves, because Credily is weak to fighting and steel. So we were very happy that we didn't see those two mons.
So I think that was key. I think, it seemed like a lot of things went in favor for TIAB, but I think it's really just a matchup issue where they didn't bring the mons that would deal with the Cradily, and with just one Pokemon you can kind of really win the game if the opposing team is not prepared.
Yeah, then Credily is also important because Dragonite cannot set up their Colossal because Dragonite's Aqua Jet will get absorbed into Storm Drain. So we thought that Dragonite would maybe try to do Scarf Surf so that it bypasses the Storm Drain and procs the policy on their Colossal, but they didn't bring their Colossal into the match. Then notably, there are two G-Max mons, Venusaur and Colossal. The residual damage doesn't affect Credily. So somehow, we were very lucky to pick up Credily, and we are very proud of how the Credily was able to perform in this week. Then somehow Sandaconda got 3 kills. I think those were stray kills with Rock Slide. Yeah, quite surprising. Alright, so let's move on to the next game. So this is Mr. Torterra White versus the Celebi. Also a very close game that went back and forth. So very well played and well prepped on both ends.
This was super close too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, do you want to talk about it, Andrew?
Yeah, sure. So, first thing that happened was Mr. Torterra White. They were able to get the Pairs trap off of a relatively passive lead with Klefki and Gallade. Um, and I think it was fine for the Celebi side because they could get free switches in Trick Room once the first two would go down, and also Mr. Torterra White trapped with Primarina and Gothitelle. So you get the trap, you have two passive mons that go down. Nothing really set up on the side of Mr. Torterra White either. So when Kangaskhan and Melmatel came in, Melmatel was able to do some good damage. I noted a few kind of key turns which changed the momentum. So first one was uh, out. So Trick Room expired, and Kang just used fake out. And then they had the Mr. Torterra Wide had Umbreon and Primarina on the field. You could probably have expected a switch out from Umbreon back into Gothitelle to try and trap again and use Pair Song. They weren't prepared for the last resort on Kangaskhan, so it only had two moves, Fake Out and Last Resort, and that KO'd the Prim. So I think losing Prim really early was pretty tough for them. I think they were really trying to rely on the trapping strategies.
Like it wasn't part of their
And
plan, right?
yeah. So they just really didn't expect the Kang to do that much damage. Prim goes down, and they're forced to bring in the Celesteela and
Celesteela.
try to max it. The other crucial point was when they sent out Cinderace towards the end. So timer was already starting to run down, and I think the score was like 3-all or like 3-2 in their favor. Their biggest mistake was they didn't protect Cinderace on the turn that it was sent out, and we checked the pace. The Cinderace did have protect, right? So Comfy was able to get a draining kiss on the Cinderace, and then the Celesteela Flamethrower that went into the Comfy didn't kill it. It survived with 3 HP. So if the Cinderace protected, Comfy would have gone down, uh, and then that would have put they would have won on timer. Basically, at that point, Palkia hadn't maxed, and they had two mons on the same side, which could just protect and stall out the Palkia's max.
Yeah.
Right? So you end up winning on the tiebreaker or the timer rules there.
Yeah,
So that was quite unfortunate for them.
yeah, so in the end game, I felt that team didn't pay attention to the Torterras didn't pay attention to the Dynamax turns. There will be a message that says which player can Dynamax. So the Celebi, they were playing defensive because they really needed to keep the Palkia alive as much as possible because they were able to play the game out nicely. Even though they lost 2 mons early in the game, they were still able to play patiently to try and have a game plan of a late game Dynamax Palkia. So that turn Palkia was forced to protect because it wasn't its turn to Dynamax yet, fearing maybe the high jump kick from Cinderace or another attack. So yeah, it was a mistake on the Torterra side because if they were able to take out the Comfy, then it will be a 2v1 versus the Palkia slot, and then Cinderace could do good damage into the Palkia, so it was quite a waste. Yeah, I see. It's so weird to see Comfy killing a Cinderace, right? Doesn't make sense. And
Comfy kills Cinderace, yeah.
Cinderace kills Kangaskhan, so that makes sense. Yeah, but then props to Kangaskhan for taking 3 good kills. Yeah, Primarina, Gothitelle, and Umbreon. That's impressive. Then yeah, and also shoutouts to the nicknames. I think the Torterras were trying to taunt the Celebi, right? You see, because first of all, Torterra drafted Celebi, and they didn't even bring Celebi into the game. And then furthermore, they go and nickname all their mons into Celebis. So very sneaky. And then I like Celebi's nicknames because Celebi's nicknames are all items, so quite cute. And they were confused whether Kangaskhan is a dog or not. Oh, that's true. Yeah, because Kangaskhan missed 1 KO on the Cinderace. So so it's interesting that we have both perspectives, and the discussions were very well made. However, like the first few turns are a bit strange. Like maybe the Celebi side could have set up the screens a bit later because they didn't expect the break from the Gotitel. So quite interesting prep on both ends. So do take note. Do go and check out the stream. So here I'm going to plug NJ, who is in chat. NJ's new YouTube channel is going to have all the matches, and really good effort, because it's not like me. It's not like using a capture card. He used a tripod and a phone. So really thank you for doing that, and like sharing your match with everyone. So Andrew, any last thoughts?
No, I think it was really close, and just one small detail sometimes really makes a difference.
True.
In the last few turns.
Yeah, and then like the Torterras were so caught off guard with the 2-move Kangaskhan, which was a very good bring. Yeah, so both sides, like the Perish trap, that was a super good bring. Then in the other side, on the other field, on the other corner of the ring, the Kangaskhan came in with just a 1-2 punch, right? Immediately taking out so many mons. Worth the effort. Thanks NJ, we really appreciate it. Alright, let's move on to second last match. Game 8, STARBOYS versus the Yellowstone Yampers, and both sides said that the game was very exciting. Yeah, however, unfortunately both sides couldn't stream or record, so there was no VOD. Yeah, but I didn't have time to ask them for what happened. But we know that the Blastoise Dynamaxed, and then the Bolton was able to kill Dynamax Blastoise. Yeah.
Yep. So that's why
not before the
has
Blastoise
evolved.
yeah. That's why Spectile Titan's profile pic evolved from a Yamper to a Bolton. Oh yes! Yeah, Aaron, you're in chat. Okay, give us info. So what did the Yellowstone Yampers Dynamax? Because Charizard didn't take any kills. Then seems like they went Trick Room. Escavalier was able to take a kill. And then did they max Glastrier? That's my guess. Yeah, because we have zero info with this. And then like the kill details are so weird, right? Look at this. Luxray KOs a Glastrier. How? Then Cryogonal KOs a Mantine. Does Cryogonal get freeze dry? Then what else? Glastrier KOs a fire type Blaziken. So and Cofagrigus KOs as. Wait, but what? Andrew, do you see this? Like Cofagrigus KOs Escavalier. However, Escavalier KOs Cofagrigus.
I mean there are 2 Pokemon that KO'd the Escavalier, so we probably
so I think this was a typo.
Probably an error.
Yeah. I think this was an error. Let's bold it. Yeah, makes sense.
Oh, I see. I can see the nicknames. They're all, not all, but
they're all like
plain names.
Right?
Concord, B2, Blackbird, Thunderbird. Well, Spicy Nugget and
Oh,
Spurt,
they actually maxed the Charizard. Oh, you guys use Rain Dance with Cryogonal. Good tech. With Meow.
Oh, it is faster than Charizard. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, Cryogonal speed stat is quite unique. And then cannonade into the Zard. Oh, therefore turn 1 Zard went
so
down.
Interesting. Yeah.
Oh, good tech. Well played. So we're gonna write Charizard here. And Sprite. Oh, nice. What a good idea. But then again, Dynamaxing a Charizard in front of a Blastoise, that's kind of questionable. So I think the Yampers were a bit too rash over there. Yeah. Oh wait, they were confident that the Meowstic could go for Sunny Day. Oh, what a good tag on the Cryogonal. Good job.
Okaberry Cryogonal. Wow, okay, yeah. So they were really expecting the
Wow.
Meowstic Charizard lead.
And they called it. So good job on their
Yeah.
end. I see. We had screens on Cryogonal and IC Wingspan. Very good set. Very useful as a support mod. Then I assume Trick Room went up somewhere. They had banded Strong Draw, yup. And then they were very happy that the Bolton could kill a Dynamax Blastoise. So I wonder how Meowstic went down.
That's crazy actually. So I think the fangs are 75 base power, right?
I think it's
And then
65.
you do
65
oh,
base
it's
power,
65,
95 accuracy. But then it
95.
was
So if
Strong
it's
Jaw boosted.
65, strong draw is what, 20 or 30%?
I think it's 30%.
30%. So that should be an extra, it's about 20 is 85, and then times 2, 170 plus stab and choice band. Oh yeah, that's a lot of damage.
Wow, that's impressive.
That's more than
Oh
that's
no, so no
2.50.
Trick Room went up.
More
So
than
yeah,
250
it was,
damage.
but it was impressive that Escavalier and Glastrier were still bulky enough to try and take a KO, right? Yeah, and it really seemed like the game went back and forth. So I think maybe, yeah, I think definitely you guys used the Luxray for, oh, it did 75% to the Max Blastoise. Cool. Yeah, so I can see that you guys use the Luxray to sort of intimidate spam, and then using Cryogonal to keep your team safe behind screens. So very good job. Oh, fast Glastrier with Tailwind. Wow. Nice.
Oh, Tailwind from the Mantine, I guess.
Mantine.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Wow, it's a very
I think
interesting weather wall.
all things considered, I guess it's shout out to the Yampers for trying to claw their way back after losing Charizard turn 1.
Correct, correct,
I
correct.
think 2-0 differential is not so bad.
Yeah. Shoutouts to them, yep. I agree. Alright, let's move on to our last matchup then. Yeah, so too bad this match just disappears into the void. Very neat game, yeah, agreed. I think it was just like trading damage, trading chess pieces, and trying to make sure you survive all the way to the end. But I feel like the STARBOYS did very well with their prep, preparing a lot of options of damage control, so that was good. Turn 1 was damning. Nice. Okay, let's move on to our last matchup. Yeah, this was fast. I told you guys this was short. So this is this is an interesting game that actually went all the way to timer. So this was Shellder versus the Galarian Rapidazz. Oh, oops. I copy pasted. So it was Regieleki and Articuno. So there's a lot of speed control because Articuno could set up Trick Room. And then Kingdra and Pheromosa. So turn 1, Pheromosa went for the close combat, trying to take out the Eleki because it's important, right? Speed control. Then Eleki survived on Sash, was able to go for Electro Web.
Electro Web, yeah.
And
That took out the Pheromosa.
yeah, because Pheromosa was at -1.
Yeah, -1.
And then Articuno went for Tailwind. And however, like the Galarian Rapidazz had the Kotorita switch in, right? So it pressured the Articuno, it was Articuno's turn to max. So it pressured the Articuno with Fake Out. However, I'm thinking like, if you are going to Fake Out, like you wouldn't Fake Out a Articuno that has the potential to max, right? So I feel Articuno could have been safe to go for Freeze Dry into the Dynamax Kingdra and maybe just do so good damage to take it out. Yeah, but instead the Articuno maxed, and then Kingdra was still able to do a lot of damage, then taking out Regieleki and then taking out the Leafeon with max Hurricane, max Airstream. So a bit of a waste on the Shellder's end.
Yeah. The interesting thing was, I think all things considered, they were able to somehow stall the Kingdra Max. I mean, they lost Eleki and Leafeon, but Groudon was able to be around for quite some time, even after the Max. Unlike, I think, some of the exhibition games where Kingdra just takes 3 KOs, right? So in this case, Kingdra only took 2 KOs. And then I think there was a helping hand Max Geyser into the Dynamax Articuno that did so little damage.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think they recognized, the Shelders recognized that Articuno's bulk would be good to put in front of the Kingdra. But as you said, it wouldn't take so much damage, but it wouldn't also do much damage in return. All it could do was airstream back, and you didn't get much.
So I think it was a wasted opportunity that they didn't go for the freeze dry, and then it was so risky Dynamaxing a Kingdra in front of a Articuno even.
That's true. That's true. In fact, they doubled into the Eleki, so the close combat brought Eleki to Sash. So technically, Kingdra's first attack was really just taking out 1 HP from the Eleki to KO it.
Yep.
So I don't know, not really that worth it, but it worked out for them. Very interesting thing about this match was after Max, Kingdra used Muddy Water on Articuno, got the Muddy Water accuracy drop, and then they sent. So after Kingdra got KO'd, they sent out Ditto, which
instead
copied
of
the
Zacian.
So that was the first interesting thing. I think, with Articuno, I think Articuno was still max at that time. I forgot, but then, Articuno and Groudon versus the Zacian and what was it? It was the Gothorita, I think.
Yep.
The Gothorita. It's like there's not much that they can do. The Articuno can't touch the Zacian at all. So curious to the only reason why I think they still let Ditto there was probably just the fear of losing speed control, and then they get Tailwind up, and then Groudon gets a Precipice Blades off of off of the Zacian, right? So I think they just wanted to make sure that the Groudon was KO'd before sending out Zacian. And what happened was they used Helping Hand and Weather Ball.
It was Inhale.
It was Inhale, so the Ditto was an Articuno Inhale. Used Weather Ball, and then it missed. I also got confused when I was watching. I don't know why that missed.
But that's because Ditto copied not only the Airstream boost from the Articuno, but they also copied the accuracy drop. So big oof on their side. Everybody was shocked in chat.
Yeah, so Groudon lived an extra turn, and
it went for Thunder Punch onto Articuno though. Yeah, unfortunately it didn't bring Rock Slide.
Yes, so that was the other thing. I think if they would have been in a good position there, because if they KO the Articuno, then the Articuno used Tailwind the second time, right? So they would have gotten up the
Precipice Blade on the station.
Yeah. So that was unfortunate. But because of that, there wasn't really much at the back for the Shelders to deal with the Zacian. So they had Oranguru, and they had the Moltres. Just really nothing to touch the Zacian after the Groudon went down. So I think that was game.
So unfortunate. So I think the the Ditto tried its best. It tried so hard to take out the Groudon. In the end, it managed to do it. Then at the same time, it was just one accuracy drop, so it was still able to take out Articuno and Oranguru. So somehow that put Ditto onto the kill leaderboard. What an interesting turn of events. Yeah. So
but
I think
shout out to Shelders. The Shelders, they had a good game plan. I guess just a few techs too short, I think. To make it really work for them, and they really did threaten what we consider to be one of the most terrifying teams in the league. So shout outs to them. Good job.
Yeah, good job to the Shelders. Then the Rapidazz did tell me, they did say that this is the matchup that they were fearing the most. So congratulations on the win, and still managing to try and position well and claw out this win. Yeah. But really impressive, the Shellder's game plan just somehow didn't turn out well. So I think that the freeze dry and the king dry was such a missed opportunity. Then oh yeah, and also shoutouts to Galarian Rapidazz. Their nickname game is very on point. Yeah. Let me show you their previous nicknames. Oh, that's okay. I think you guys can see it for yourselves. But then their nicknames always come in themes, and this one is so impressive. Yeah. Notably, you can't make these nicknames in the game because you have a 16 character limit. However, in my Google form, I gave you guys a 20 character limit, so that you can let your creativity run wild. So, with that, so this is like all the games. Congratulations to Infernapes, Celebi, STARBOYS, and Rapidazz in the Peony group for going 1-0. And then commiserations to the other 4 teams. Yeah, good luck for your next few matches. Then again, this is only week 1 out of 8, so you have a lot of chance to fight back, to get used to your team also. And then this week 2 is also the trade week, so I'll release trade information in the chat on Discord down the line. Then at the same time, I'm also working to update the kill leaderboard and the standings. Yeah, but for now we have the kill leaders. So Andrew, so who's the? Do you want to talk about the kill leader?
The kill leaders, yeah. So I think Volcarona had 4, so Volcarona's in the lead.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of the. So we have
7.
Swampert.
I have
Swampert
Swampert,
with 3.
Magiana, those with 3 kills. So those in second place, it's a 7-way tie. Swampert, Magiana, Sceptile, very very weird mons. So yeah, very interesting. Magiana as expected. Sceptile, like wow, Sceptile got 3 kills, impressive. So Galio, that's expected. Sandaconda, a C tier mon, getting 3 kills, thank you. Kangaskhan also, and Ditto. So interesting pickup. Yeah, Ditto getting 3 kills. Who will go 1-1 this week? Celebis or TIAB? Yeah, I also don't know. I haven't looked at the matchup yet. So yeah, that's our week 1 recap. Yeah, that was good. I like the way we presented it. I think maybe just one thing that we didn't present were the mons that they didn't bring, right? So I'll take that into consideration next time. But then the main goal was just to let everybody know, what happened during the match, and just see what information we can glean from the kill details that you guys submitted. Because I feel like it's a good idea to keep this information public to everyone, so everyone kind of knows what each team can do. So then every week it comes down to how well you can prep, and maybe to an extent how much you can surprise your opponents. Yeah. Andrew, any closing thoughts? I think this went well. This was only 1 hour. Yeah, we did it.
Yep, we did it. Yeah. So don't think I have anything else to add. I think we saw some really good. I guess closing note for me is just we saw some really good picks here and there, and you can really see the power of understanding what tech or what Pokemon can really just destroy another team single-handedly. So being able to identify those kinds of matchups and positioning yourself into that position is just really important. You really need to understand how your team works and how the other team might work. So shout outs to everyone who really tried creative things the week and got themselves the win, and to the rest, there's some really hard fought battles as well. So shout outs to everyone else for putting up good fights.
Yeah, I think Andrew was cut off a little bit there. He was saying to the rest, shoutouts to the very hard fought battles, cause yeah, there were very close matches, right, that went all the way down to timer or went down to the wire with just a few months remaining, and yeah, and then very interesting how everything played out. Then I also want to reiterate, yeah, that being able to find that one thing that can do very well against your opponent, I think that was a common theme this week. Like even Cryogonal with Rain Dance, that was so useful against a team that wants to set up Charizard and Sun. And yeah, so from my side, there was the Cradily, and then there was also a Scarf Entei with an Eruption. That's so impressive. Yeah, so that's all from us for week 1. Yeah, we'll come back again in week 2. I think this was quite easy to set up, so I don't mind doing this every week. Then I'm also going to take up Guts from the PokePals. His recommendation to do maybe like a mid-season power rankings. I think we'll do that, and then we're going to make it as short as possible. Yeah. Then
Short.
going forward, I'm also going to be super interested to see what trades come out of this week 2 trade window. So interesting, because by now you will have played 3 matches and sort of found out what your team can do. So I'll be super interested to see what trades happen. Oh, and to everyone who's playing, to all our coaches, we left the draft log tab open, so if you are looking to do trades and looking for options, please go and check that out, because the mons that are selected are crossed out, so you can see which mons remain for you to pick up for your trades. So otherwise, good luck and have fun to everybody's week 2 matches, which are officially live now, and they will be you have until Sunday to play your games. Yeah, so thanks everyone for
Thanks, everyone.
thanks
Bye.
NJ. Okay, I'll just end the stream here. Bye-bye.